Truth Be Told 92 here. This is a random video, but this is a video that I felt needs to be discussed. The crime and violence that plagues my city of Flint, Michigan. Flint, Michigan has been in the top 5, if not top 10, most dangerous cities in America for the past 5 years. We have just senseless acts of violence going on. And a lot of people sit back and say, well, you know what? Flint is not that huge. It's not that large. It doesn't have that big of a population. So why are they more dangerous than, I don't know, Chicago or New York? Well, you have to look at the big picture. The big picture is for there to be so much less population. I mean, Flint has under 100,000 people living here. Keyword, under 100,000 people. However, Flint can have anywhere between 40 and 70 homicides in 1 year in such a small radius. Because when you look at Flint, Flint is not a large city. It doesn't have a large population. But to have that many crimes in such a small population in such a small radius, that is devastating. It's just about everybody you know has either been killed or know somebody who's been killed. It seems like every weekend, personally, I know of a funeral that's going on. And it's not because somebody died of old age or they had a life-threatening disease. It's because they were 17, 18 in the wrong place at the wrong time, or because they were 20, 22 hanging out with people that they shouldn't have been hanging out with. These people are being shot and killed. Some people are being shot and killed by guilt of association just because they know somebody who knows somebody. Some people are being shot and killed just because they're at a school chilling and got people jumping and beating on them and leaving them by a dumpster. You got children who are being shot and killed simply because they were at the house of somebody else who had beef with somebody else. Innocent people are being killed in my city every single day, and nobody really is doing anything about it. Now, there are people out there, such as the Black Student Union with the University of Michigan Flint, and other community outreach groups that are doing everything in their power to change what's going on in our city of Flint. But it's going to take more than just a few groups or just a few people. It's going to take a community action. People in each ward of Flint, people in all the different neighborhoods in Flint, we're going to have to come together, and we're going to have to take back our city and our communities and our neighborhoods. Because this sitting around here thinking that Rick Snyder, the Republican governor of Michigan, is really going to give any type of help or aid to Flint, Detroit, Saginaw, he doesn't care. You know, he puts these emergency managers in these cities, and that's all he does. And these emergency managers do not have the best interests of the people that live in the city. So, here's what I think we need to do. Clearly, we have a lot of people coming from fatherless, motherless, supportless, loveless, and impoverished families and communities and neighborhoods. And a lot of times, this is all those children see. All they see is people dying and being killed, and drugs and violence and abuse. They don't see love and support and commitment and trust and honesty and loyalty. They don't see that. Instead, they see dysfunction. And I've been saying this a long time. When you're around dysfunction, and dysfunction is an everyday thing for you, pretty soon it becomes normal because that's all you're around. That's all you see. And despite what people want to say, you are a product of your environment. I mean, if you're growing up with all this chaos and catastrophe and violence and drugs and mayhem, then it's only natural for the person that's being grown in that predicament, in that situation, to think that's okay, that's normal. Guess what? It's not. And just because you grow up in that environment doesn't mean that you have to do what they're doing. You don't have to be that environment. You can be the rose that comes out of the cracked concrete. You could beat the statistic. You could be the good kid, the good guy, the good girl. You could be the guy or girl that grows up and gets out of the hood. You don't have to be the next baby mama, baby daddy, drug dealer, local whore. You don't have to be that. But unfortunately, a lot of these kids don't know that because nobody's telling them that. They don't have loving family members and friends who really have their back. I hear a lot of people say it takes a village to raise a child, but many people just say it. They're not really about it. You know, here's my thing. Here's a solution. If you see children that are going down the wrong path, step in and intervene. Show them the right path. Show them that you care about them, that you love them, that you support them, that you're there for them. Because a lot of these kids, they do not have support systems at home. They don't have support systems in the school because, let's face it, you have a lot of teachers who only care about their paychecks. I'm just going to put it for what it is. And we have a lot of parents who aren't parents. They're sperm donors and egg donors. They do nothing for their children. So if you see a child like that, help them out. Be the shoulder that they can lean on. Be the person they can come and talk to. Support them. Help them. Because if we help the future, because that's at the end of the day, this generation is growing up right now. They're the future. We have to help them. Because guess what? I want my future to be bright just as much as I want your future to be bright. So if you're watching this video, don't just look at it and think, oh, she's just rambling, she's complaining. Don't just leave a nice comment or a negative comment. Don't just like or dislike, share or unsubscribe or subscribe. Actually take action and do something about Flint. And if you live in other communities, states, and cities and there's problems going on in your area, do something about it. Don't just sit around and look at the news and talk about how bad your area is. Don't just talk about how dangerous your area is. Get out there and vote. Make sure you're voting for politicians who actually want to help the community and not just doing it so they can get money. Be out there with those children. Make sure that they have somebody that loves and supports and cares about them. Anyways, Truth Be Told 92, signing out. All I'm going to say is this. It's time to wake up, Flint.